Hello, 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 and welcome to Mothers, Sisters, and Daughters Coffee and Tea. I am your host, Trina G.
And I am your host, Lady J. Okay.
Today is the last day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but we as people should continue to make ourselves aware throughout the year. We will discuss COVID 19 and the safety measures, along with the awareness, proactive, preventive care, self care, and mammograms.
Hi. Well, let me take these off so you can see my face.
See that face. Woo!
Of course, you know it's hot up in here.
Always,
It is hot
always.
up in here. Okay. We also will have a conversation about things that you often don't hear, and that is men with breast cancer. Today we celebrate survivors of breast cancer and survivors of other cancerous diseases. We will also remember those who lost their lives to this dangerous disease. We want to thank all essential workers from the West Coast to the East Coast for all that you have done throughout this COVID-19 process.
Our mission is bringing enlightenment to the masses of our brown skin, the royalty within, our history, and the fight to educate, emancipate, and liberate the minds. How can one understand if they have not been taught?
Before we dive deeper, let me give you a little background of Trina G. Trina G is the awesome mother of three sons and one daughter. She's a certified business administrator, has her associate and bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies, where her focus is business and Christian counseling. She also has a master's degree in human services counseling, and she is a life coach. She is a business owner of the Pure Angel Life Coaching, where she focuses on active and retired military families, couples, and those with disabilities. Things is nothing too hard for her to conquer.
Thank you, Lady J. And of course, Lady J is my mother. So I'm going to give you a little bit about Lady J. Lady J is a wonderful mother of five daughters and one son, whom are all 30 and above, which shows you how good she looks. And the apple does not fall far from the tree. Okay. She is also educated with her bachelor's in education, bachelor's in Christian counseling, and she is pursuing her master's in Christian counseling. She is a motivational speaker, a life coach, ordained pastor, but chooses to serve as a prophetess, evangelist, and minister. Lady J loves to serve her community outside of the four walls. She is an advocate for those with developmental disabilities, military veterans, and the elderly. To sum it up in one word, she is a phenomenal woman.
Thank you, Trina G. And if you have any questions, please interact in the comment section and we will try to answer many questions and acknowledge your comments. This show is about learning, laughing, loving, and living. Now that we have given you the menu,
Let's sip some coffee and spill
spill some
some
tea.
tea. All right.
All right. Okay, wait. We got to spill it. We got to spill our tea.
Gotta sip, gotta
Mm.
sip. Mm.
Shout out for my medicine ball. Shout
Oh,
out.
this is good. Oh, I am drinking, of course, my coffee. Pumpkin spice is everything. Of course, no sugar. That's another conversation. We're not going to get into that. But let's just say it's good nonetheless. Okay.
Mine's medicine ball. I'm sorry. Shout out to Starbucks. Medicine ball is the best. It's a herbal tea. I put a little
Mm-hmm.
hunk of peppermint in it to go with all the mint tea herbs.
Oh, I love mint
Delicious.
tea.
Try it.
Oh, good. Now, within our history, we have so many amazingly intellectual individuals. I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler. In 1831, Crumpler was born Rebecca Davis in Christiana, Delaware, to Matilda Weber and Absalom Davis. She was raised in Pennsylvania by an aunt who cared for her infirm neighbors. Her aunt acted as the doctor in her community and had a huge influence on her. She moved to Charlestown, Massachusetts in 1852. It was rare for a woman or Black men to be admitted to medical school during this time. In 1860, due to the heavy demands of medical care for the Civil War veterans, there were more opportunities for women physicians and doctors. Due to her talent, Crumpler was given a recommendation to attend the school by her supervising physician when she was a medical apprentice. That year, there were 54,543 physicians in the United States, 300 of whom were women, but none of them were Black Americans. Crumpler graduated from New England Female Medical College in 1864 after having completed 3 years of coursework, a thesis, and final oral examination in February 1864. On March 1st, 1864, the Board of Trustees named her a Doctor of Medicine. Married to Wyatt Lee at that time, she was identified as Miss Rebecca Lee by the school, where she was the only Black American graduate. She was the only country's first Black American woman to become a formally trained physician. Now, that lets you know no matter what our circumstances are, we cannot stop our greatness. We have excellence built throughout our body, our genes, our ancestors are breathing greatness. So do not stop your dreams. Continue going, continue pushing because she did.
Thank you for that. You know, it's amazing that we have so much rich history and to look back on and to see how much we have grown just from their struggles. I'm going to spill some tea about a lady some of us don't know about. Her name is Henrietta Lacks, born Loretta Pleasant, August 1, 1920. Miss Lacks is the woman whose cancer cells is the source of the HeLa cell line, the first immortalized human cell line, and one of the most important cells line in medical research. As an immortalized cell, it reproduces indefinitely under specific conditions, and the HeLa cell continues to be the source of invaluable medical data to the present day. Lax was an unwitting source of the cells from a tumor biopsy during a treatment for cervical cancer at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland in 1951. These cells was cultured by a Dr. George Omogay, who created the cell line we know as HeLa, which is still used for medical research today. As then, the practice was no consent was obtained to culture the cells. Consent without modern standard, neither she, Miss Lax, nor her family knew what was going on with her cells. Tissue samples from the tumor was taken without consent during treatment, and these samples were subsequently cultured into the HeLa cell line. Now, it's very important today that back then, that because we were Black American, more than likely, they didn't have to get consent from her to do what they wanted to do with her or her family. So they just did. I'm not saying this is the truth, but I'm thinking, why else would someone do that? We don't know. This is history, and I'm spilling the tea. Living in Maryland, Henrietta had married, and she had three more children. During the birth of her fourth child, at 4.5 months, she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. On January 29, 1951, Miss Lax went to Johns Hopkins, the only hospital in the area that treated Black patients, because she felt a knot in her womb. She had previously told her cousin about the knot and assumed correctly that she was pregnant. So she was pregnant after giving birth. Miss Lax had a severe hemorrhage. Her primary care doctor tested her for syphilis when it came back negative and referred her back to Johns Hopkins. There, the doctors, Howard W. Jones, took a biopsy of mass found on Lax's cervix for laboratory testing. Soon after, Miss Lax was told that she had a malignant amyloid epidermal carcinoma of the cervix. In 1970, the physician, I'm sorry, the physicians was commonly make this mistake about mixed diagnosing back then. So she had adult carcinoma. Miss Lex was treated with radium tube inserts as inpatient and discharged within a few days of instruction to return for x-ray treatment and follow-up. During her treatment, two samples was taken from her. The two samples was cancerous that Miss Lex suffered for. On August 8, 1951, Miss Lex, at 31 years old, went to Johns Hopkins for a routine treatment session and asked to be admitted due to continual abdominal pain. She received blood transfusion and remained at the hospital until her death on October 4th, 1951. Miss Lex will be remembered as a treatment and research with her cells that they got from her. So let's remember this woman and all that she has done to for medical science, even though they didn't have her consent. Let's thank God and give her her due because she have saved many of lives. And
Yeah.
I'm talking about none other than Henrietta Lacks.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That was awesome discussion and research on Henrietta Lacks. Now, grab your coffee and teacups
You grab your
and
coffee
join us.
and let
Yes, as we welcome our guest.
yes.
Our first guest I'm going to introduce to you is Janelle Scott. Janelle is a mother of four. She has been in the medical field for 10 years and counting. She is a national registered certified medical assistant who works for the number one hospital in Florida, Temple General Hospital, which is also number three in the U.S. World Report. She is also enrolled at Strayer University to receive her bachelor's in healthcare administration. Everybody, let's welcome Janelle Scott.
Hi, Janelle.
Hello, ladies.
Hi,
Hello. How is
hi.
everybody?
Welcome,
Great. How are
welcome.
you?
Let me
Thank
introduce
you.
to you Robert Jones. Robert Jones is a native of Los Angeles. He is the father of four beautiful children. He is a grandfather as well. He is a licensed minister and has been in the ministry for 23 years. Robert Jones is a breast cancer survivor. And this is what we're talking about also today is that men also can have breast cancer. He is currently residing in Bakersfield with his beautiful wife of 10 years. He is also a member of the St. John Missionary Baptist Church in Bakersfield, California. Let's welcome none other than Robert Jones. Welcome to our show, Robert.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's a little technical difficulties. He's going to come back, you guys. So we're just going to give him some time.
And also, let me introduce to you um, Dr. Tess Washington. Her resume is long, but that's a good thing. Dr. Tess studied biology pre-med at Loyola University, class of 1995. She also studied medicine at the University of Illinois, Chicago from 1999 to 2006. I met Dr. Washington because she was helping a classmate of mine give shout out and rest in peace to Chris Bryant. She stayed with him the whole time during his treatment. And she got to know the classes of Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles. She became our favorite doctor to come. You can also see her on Dr. Tess 90210. Let's welcome none other than Dr. Tess Washington.
Yes,
Hey, guys.
welcome, welcome,
Now we
welcome.
always said
Thank
we
you.
might be kin because see my last name is Washington and her last name is Washington. You never know. And then
We're still trying to work that out.
thank you, thank you, Dr. Tess. I'm sure she could elaborate more on her background,
But
but thank
thank
you all for
you.
joining.
Thank you, thank you, thank you to each one of our guests for taking their time out of their busy schedule to
Yes.
join us here on today to help educate and bring light to so many topics. So we're going to get into our questions, Lady J.
Well, let's first start off with let Dr. Tess and Janelle introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into our business. Dr.
Okay, let's go.
Janelle, did you want to go first or?
Janelle.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Hey, first of all, guys, I want to apologize about the attire. I
Oh,
um I just checked my email and I was like, "Oh, what time was it?" And Rhonda knows I work out like multiple hours per day
yes.
and I do my TikTok videos. So I was actually about to just like get engaged in that. Then I heard my phone. I was like, "I don't care," because it was so important for me to keep my word to her. I just was like, I'll dress up with the whole white coat thing on later. But right now, I felt like my voice and my presence was more important. So
Thank
it's a pleasure to be a part of this community. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, ladies.
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Janelle?
Well, thank you, ladies, for inviting me um, to come talk here at your segment. I really appreciate it, and it's the dear the dear topics to my heart personally, and the things that I do on a daily basis. So I'm glad to share what I do.
All right. All right. That is so wonderful. So we're going to get into first.
Oh, Lady J, let's not forget Uncle Robert.
Oh, where's Uncle Robert?
He finally got in.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Hi. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure and honor to be here with you today.
Okay. You need to bring your camera down a little bit. It's too high.
Got me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
you.
We
Okay.
got you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. As you can see, most of us are wearing pink. You can't see mine, but that's in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which we know this is a month that is celebrated breast cancer survivors and celebrate those life that was lost to breast cancer, but not only breast cancer, but other cancerous diseases. And we do have Robert Jones with us today. He is a male, a man that discovered that he had breast cancer. So, Robert, could you tell us your journey with being a breast cancer survivor and being a man?
Well, it began simply back in 2007. Uh, it ran in my family. I was detected in 2007, but it began with my mother, and she had it and unfortunately lost her battle in 1979. And then it was passed down to my sister, my baby sister, and she dealt with it for approximately 2 or 3 years. And then she lost her battle in 2004. And then shortly after that, around 2 years later, I noticed a lump on the right hand side of my chest, very painful and very uncomfortable. I didn't pay much attention because normally, when you look back through the annals of history, when you mention breast cancer, your first thought naturally is a female. So who would think a male would end up with breast cancer? So as I say, I didn't pay very much attention. But then again, it took the encouragement of my wife, because she knows me always looking, reaching for it and messing around with it and things like that. I was scheduled for a physical in 2008, but she encouraged me in the latter part of 2007 to go in and get it checked out right then because we don't know exactly what it is. And lo and behold, when I went, they took the biopsy and they came back and said that I did indeed have breast cancer.
Mhm.
Okay, let me interrupt right for a moment. Dr. Taz, a question. How often do you hear about men and breast cancer?
Wow, that was a great segue. It's about a 3% chance or probability of a male having breast cancer, which is exceptionally rare. However, the chairman of my general surgery program actually was a male with breast cancer. We also see a substantial improvement as far as the rate of survival in individuals who are married because they have a spouse that will do just as his spouse did, which is why I'm looking to get married again. If any of you guys know of an eligible hot guy, let me know so that I can live longer.
We both
But
are in the market.
all right, we'll do it together. No, but
Yeah.
he's stating, and it's just so amazing how he did not ignore that painful lump in his chest because a lot of men will ignore and not even tell his wife in order for his wife to prompt him to go in for a biopsy. So it's a very impressive scenario.
Wonderful. Janelle, how many patients have you seen male come into your hospital where you are with breast cancer? Is it rare there or?
It's very rare. We see more patients that have women that have breast cancer than men. We see men, that are very aware and they do check and they are looking just to make sure because they know that's in their family. But we have not, me personally, in our office or our hospital, I have not seen any.
Okay, Trinity G, question.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. You guys, I have so much going on. So,
We all do. We
I'm
all
look, I'm the tech, I'm the everything on here. So go ahead, Lady J, because I am still trying to do everything while
Oh, okay. Now, as to your treatment, Robert, how did you feel as a man having breast cancer and your treatment? What was that like for you to go through?
Um, well, I had a vasectomy on my right hand side. I had to have tubes entered in to drain all the excess blood, what have you. It was a constant struggle to have that change on a day to day basis. Like I say again, my wife was there to get me through those treatments. And then I had to further go radiation therapy to make sure no cancer came back anymore. Very painful, very sore. I had to kind of take small baby steps to kind of work my way back. Wasn't able to do some of the things I was used to doing, but therefore, by the grace of God, I managed to overcome it, and I can say that I'm very grateful that the Lord has brought me safe thus far.
What is it like emotionally and mentally for you as a man with breast cancer?
Well, basically, for me, when I first got it, I'll be honest with you, I have a human side. I actually cried, and it terrified me because I wasn't expecting to hear that diagnosis. Because, like I say, I wasn't aware that men had breast cancer. And I'd like to share something with you. On the day that I had my diagnosis and got it from my doctor, I walked out of the office. As I said before, I was crying, and I was wearing this purple hat. And on the front of this hat, God stopped me as I was walking back to my car, figuring out what my next thing was going to be, which obviously was emergency surgery. And God said, "Stop. Why are you crying? What are you worried about?" He said, "Take off that cap you're wearing. Look in the front of it and read it." It said, "Don't worry. God is in control." So it
Very
let me
Mm.
know that God was in the center of it, in the midst of it, and I have nothing to worry about. And reminded me of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not into thy own understanding, and all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct my path. That's what he did. The operating room, my recovery, and I'm here standing today to let you know that as of December 14th of this year, I'll be 13 years cancer free.
wonderful.
Mm.
Congratulations.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
We
It's
kind of
beautiful.
that is
saved our best for
amazing.
last, so you guys can jump in when you want.
That's
Awesome.
beautiful.
Wonderful, Robert.
That's
Janelle, as an
amazing.
essential worker and you are a certified medical assistant, what have you found in the way of not only cancer, but what about dealing with COVID-19 and the safety issues about that? And we're going to get back to the cancer, but we want to talk about the COVID-19 as well.
Well, um, the start of it coming since March has been crazy. In our office, we have about 5 doctors. Each doctor has a medical assistant. We have a pharmacy department and laboratory. The lab is there. So we had to take a lot of precautions to not allow patients in the office anymore. And us as employees and our family employees, our family, we had to take precautions where we had to make sure that whatever we did outside of the clinic, we were safe because we had to come right back in the next day to work and be with each other to make sure that we were good and we didn't have anything. So the first thing that usually happens now that we have opened back up and our patients are coming in the office, when they come to our front door, they have to stop. There's a sign there that says stop. They cannot enter without a front desk staff coming to greet them.
Mhm.
And when they get to the front door, they'll take their temperature and they'll ask them several questions, the basic questions. Do you have any fever, cough, congestion, stuff like that? So once they answer that question, they'll sign the documents and they'll go back to their cars and they'll wait until us as the medical assistants are ready for them, and we will call them and have them entered in the door with us and going back to attend them. The things that have been kind of little testy is we have patients that have been trying to get tested everywhere and they just didn't know where to go. So instead of telling us that that's what they wanted to do, they wouldn't answer the questions correctly. So that was one of the things that we were all very concerned about. We made it very clear to our patients, if you do not answer these questions correctly and we go back into the room and they're totally different, you will be dismissed from our clinic, from our whole entire practice. Period.
So
So
what
a lot of the
safety
patients, I'm sorry, go ahead.
what safety measures can you give for those of us who are staying out and being clear of COVID? What are the safety measures and how important are the safety measures and wearing the mask? How important are these things?
Wearing your mask when you are out in public, staying 6 feet apart from people. I know it's kind of hard when you're going to Walmart and everybody's all bunched up, making sure you're staying away from those people. Wear your mask,
Walmart.
have your hand
Walmart.
sanitizer on hand. Now it's saying that you can get it if somebody in that area sneezes, and you can get it if you don't have any face shield on. So that's another thing, wearing glasses or goggles or something like that. That's what we have to wear as soon as we walk in our building and we test ourselves. We have to put our whole get up on and wear that all day long.
Oh, okay.
So when you're out, make sure you're taking precautions, washing your hands, use your hand sanitizer, and wearing that mask.
It is so important to you all out there that's listening to take this advice of these medical professionals.
Yes, it's
With
very
Dr.
important.
Tess, she could just go. We just want to talk about the COVID-19 and safety, and we want to get her in on the cancer and precautions and things we could do in our life, presentive measure when it comes to not only breast cancer, but other cancer. Dr. Tess, the floor is yours, the
Yes.
screen is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. The first thing I want to comment on is Mr. Jones' cancer. Um, he went through an excellent treatment regimen. The only thing is that sometimes we would recommend a bilateral mastectomy because there's an increased probability of having cancer in the opposite breast. But I respect the fact that he has been cancer free for 13 years, which is awesome. But
Yes.
we also have to keep a strong eye on his family. So I don't know what age he was diagnosed, but whatever age he was diagnosed, 10 years prior to his diagnosis is when the women or anyone should start to be evaluated for breast cancer. Breast
Right.
cancer also has an increased probability of occurring in different areas. Like if you're known to have breast cancer, you're more so known to have ovarian, bone, um, uh, GI cancer. So it's like just because he had breast cancer, don't be like, well, I'm not going to get breast cancer. That means his family has an increased probability of cancer. I
Oh,
mean, the overall answer to the cancer question is diet. We all have the probability of having cancer. We have basically cancer security guards in our genes, if you will. And when we're really young, the analogy that I give, those security guards are on it. What is
right.
cancer? Cancer is just an exponential growth of cells, just like a gremlin, the one who got wet and he just multiplied.
Wow.
But he multiplied in a bad way, right? And
Right.
then, so we all have our skin. If you exfoliate your skin, that's reproduction of cancer. Why is GI cancer so common? Because your GI lining is simply your skin turned inside out. So if you think about how often your skin flakes off of your face, that's how often the cells flake off of your GI lining. Now
Wow.
you have a nice little in and out burger that's just stuck in there because if the body doesn't recognize it, it's not going to digest it. So it's going to sit there. There's different foods that we eat that we can look at how long they actually stay in a GI system. So if you think about it, you have like a boulder, or even if we have like a little piece of trash in the corner at our house and it just stays there and we don't sweep it, we'll notice other things start to pile on top of it. So imagine if you have like a lump of In-N-Out burger in
Mm.
your colon,
Right.
anywhere, your GI system, and those cells are just rapidly, exponentially reduplicating, and they just sit there. Well, how does it have any choice but to turn into something abnormal? And then it just has a nice little area, has a great blood supply, it has moisture, and it grows. So, what is one of the ways that we could prevent it? Our diet. The Western diet is basically what's killing us all. And that's the reason why we see people dying quicker. Now, going back to those security guards, um, when we're young, those security guards are on point. They see a bad gremlin cell, they slap him and they get him out the way. But over 50, we got to keep in mind our cells and our genes are over 52. So that
Mm.
doggone security guard just may be sleeping on the job and he didn't see that little rascal get by. That's the reason why it's like the probability of having cancer when you get into your 70s, 80s, and 90s is almost 70, 80, 90% because
Wow.
you're older. And so a lot of older people, they may die of something, but they probably had cancer too if you check. So, but I mean, so what is it that we could do? Just try to eat healthy, early surveillance, just follow all the guidelines. Get the doggone colonoscopy. Just go ahead and get the mammogram. Women, we have 5 ways of getting at nexial cancer: vaginal, ovarian, fallopian tubes, uterus, and cervical.
Wow.
So right down there in that little area, whereas men, that's where they look out. They have prostate. They I don't know, I can't think of course I'm gonna know all the women areas more, but I don't think that they have as many as we do, right? And that's one of the main reasons why they sometimes say if you're not going to use it, you may as well go ahead and lose it. There used to be a philosophy where they highly recommended getting a hysterectomy when you were postmenopausal because it decreases the probability of getting cancer in those organs.
Really? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of people actually sometimes have fibroids, which is like a benign tumor, but just the word
Mhm.
tumor, you really don't even want to have that around. So if you have fibroids, if you're postmenopausal, you just may want to consider it, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. Maybe early surveillance. So that's what I would pretty much recommend with regards to cancer: diet, early detection, just following the health guidelines, which are annoying, but like with this gentleman, following the health guidelines will save your life. I mean, that's just how it is. There's no need to die of cancer any longer. Like with our friend Chris, the reason why Chris, I mean, we're never going to say anything inappropriate about someone who is not with us,
Right.
but Chris was literally having seizures. He
Oh.
was drinking Pepto Bismol. He had
Mm.
the metastasis. He felt lumps in his head, in his hair, his arm would. He had. I mean, only thing that didn't happen was the cancer didn't jump out and be like, "Hey, you gonna go to the doctor or what?
Right.
What do you want me to do?"
Right.
So we don't want to go, but it's almost like cleaning up your house. You never feel like it, but you feel so good after
When
it's
you do.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's what I would look at with regards to that. With regards to Janelle, I worked actually in Bakersfield at a clinic, CSV clinic, and that was when COVID first hit. And we didn't know what it was. I think you saw my scare that I
Mhm.
posted in my stories where I was like, I got COVID because I was working out and I all of a sudden couldn't breathe. That was because I was with a patient who we were literally almost like kissing each other. The patient was an employee. She didn't tell me. She knew her positive results and she didn't tell me. And
Oh,
I'm warm and fuzzy with all of my medical assistants. We
geez.
go out to lunch together and everything. And so I'm working out the next day after I found out the results. The mind is just so powerful. I finished my workout and all of a sudden felt like I couldn't breathe. I forgot the fact that I had my waist trainer on. Duh. Kind of like. But I just was like, that's it, I'm dying. That's it. I won't see Chris. Well, I won't. This is my last birthday. I'm dead. Call my mother. I started calling people. I love you. I called my parents on party line. Like, look, I never told you guys together. And so then I went and got tested. And our clinic was the same way. We had patients that would come in and say something and just to want to get tested or confirm the test, which is it's so sad that the poor patients should have to go through so much just to get tested.
Right.
Testing should be more so readily
Yeah.
available. But
Yeah.
I'm not an advocate for a test. I'll tell you why. Let's say I take a picture of the screen right now with us all sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all like get up and walk away. And then I take another picture. The second picture is going to be different. A test is that moment in time. It
Right.
means
Mhm.
absolutely nothing. You could take the test and then walk out of the testing center and be like, yeah, pass that one. And the person you walk past could be positive. It could have contaminated you. The
Absolutely.
thing,
Yep.
the thing that is
Absolutely.
beneficial is testing for the antibody. I
Right.
mean, I don't know how readily available antibodies testing is, but I think that this whole like hysteria, like, oh my God, I got to get tested. I think that that puts a whole different sense of anxiety in something that's already just like scary.
Yes.
And even if we did get tested, the doggone strain is mutated so many times. The test will come back negative, and you got it. Yeah,
Right.
Or
because
false positive.
yeah, they got a false negative. I hear what you're saying. They got a whole new strain in Europe that's killing them by the drones. Because the longer that this virus stays out, the more it's going to mutate and the more it's going to get powerful. That's the reason why this upcoming winter is predicted to be the deadliest winter known to mankind.
Wow.
Because we're not going to know if it's COVID or pneumonia or
Or flu.
influenza or a
Yep.
Mhm.
cold or
Exactly.
allergies. And if you cough or if you sneeze, everybody's okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
They ready to
That's me
fight.
every
right?
day.
Yeah. You know,
Listen,
and
you make
Me
up
every
with
anything.
day at work.
yeah, and with the testing thing, hey, I my last COVID positive location, 3 doctors were positive. They know how to get better. Just take cold medicine and Tylenol before you check in. Your fever goes away. And then a lot of times when you have
Yeah.
positive COVID, you don't have a fever. My cousin right now, her husband, and her
Yep.
child have COVID. None of them had fevers. Still to
Right.
this date. So it's
Exactly.
it's almost like, oh, you have a cold? Let me give you some chicken soup and ginger ale and crackers. I've never known why we do that, but it doesn't. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you went to the
That's culture.
store, right? You know what I mean? So we're coming up with all these, and with regards to like the hand sanitizer and so on. And let me ask you something. There was a guideline I read. Is actually still on the CDC website. What I tell everyone is just read the CDC website, which is I didn't realize no one reads anymore. I didn't really
No,
realize that.
they don't.
And I was like,
No.
it's great. It makes you feel good. And but with regards to that, there was a reading that actually once upon a time said stay 3 feet away. No, I know. It was when I was doing my license renewal in New York, and they have like a infection control. And they
Mhm.
actually I'll show you guys the book. And they have a section, and I just took this test knowing that the answer I was answering was wrong, even though it was the answer that was printed in the book. But it says stay 3 feet.
Mhm.
And then one of my colleagues was like, so let me get this straight. If I'm 5 feet and 11 inches, I'm definitely going to catch it. But if I step 2 inches away, and so that's just like the expiration date on most foods. Most of those foods and medications, there is no expiration. But as humans, we have to have a number. That's how we came up with time. You know
Right.
what? In other countries, they gauge by the sun, but we need to have an objective something to look at. So it doesn't make any difference. You can stand right now. You can sit on someone's lap. It doesn't make any difference. But it's like the like you said the aerosol. You know, we got in an elevator. Whew, glad I could take that mask off. You don't know who just got off the elevator. They were coughing, sneezing, throwing up,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I think that the awesome thing about all the precautions is that we're living as more clean beings. I had to drive back from Modesto and I had to stop and go to the bathroom at a gas station. And I knew beyond a reasonable doubt that was going to be a clean bathroom, right? Thank God they're finally cleaning those tables,
Don't.
those trays on the airplane, and that
Yes.
Oh
little
my
box with the
gosh.
magazine.
Woo.
I'm
Yes.
like, hey, COVID, I can finally pull my thing down on the airplane and know that, like,
It's
feces or
clean.
whatever isn't going to be there.
Right.
Yeah, so and I think that it's great that we have all these different precautions in place. But honestly, I like with regards to the sanitizing, go outside, put your hands in like whatever, dig up your butt, dig up your nose, pick up something, but wash your hands before you don't dig up your nose because you're gonna go, but people they're so some of them could be literally contaminating themselves with some of the things they're doing. But I understand. But honestly, I don't do all that. I mean, I do cover my face, but with my hands, I touch everything, but I wash my hands before I touch my mouth because
Right.
you can't. No, well, better not touch this, better not touch that, and it's almost offensive. Like, I mean, I have experienced myself where a white person would um like wipe the buttons after I've touched them. I feel like this whole thing has just like so much polarized us.
Yes.
And we're using this excuse. You get in the elevator, this poor white woman, I felt like I was getting in an elevator leaving a clinic. She backed so far into the corner of the elevator. I was like, if you push a little harder, sis, you could probably get out. Just try you know
Right.
but then if it's someone of your own nationality, ethnicity, you'll get on the elevator, be like, you fine, and you'll get on the elevator together. And so I really think that as mankind, we need to think, well, what are we really doing? Are we really scared of COVID, or
Right.
does this give us an excuse to be mean to each other? Now, with regards to the covering of the face mask, that is honestly, I promote that 100%. But
Mhm.
it's very toxic to us within because
It's
we're
not.
not being allowed to exchange the CO2.
Yeah.
And you get increased boogers because you have dryness. You
Mhm.
some people get facial irritation. Um,
Yeah.
and especially those people who have to keep the mask on for 8 hours at work. And I even know some people who they work from home with a Zoom meeting, but they make them wear the mask just so that it looks like this is retarded. Why we have a mask on and I don't even know what country you're in. So but the mask it's just mandatory. Does it have to be an N95 or does it have to be this or does it have to be that? The mask is more so protecting other people, no, protecting other people from you. So if you
Mhm.
have the infection, right, but it's not protecting, let me see, it's protecting you from transmitting something. So you can be positive, but it's not necessarily protecting well, I'm not explaining that clearly. So I'll give you that, Rhonda, so that we could go ahead and make sure
Okay.
that because I'm not explaining that
I,
clearly. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just had because you said something about the mask and wearing them at work and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
our children, of course, they're in school and they have to wear masks, which, honestly, I like it for the simple fact of my youngest has allergies and he gets sick very easily. He has asthma. So I have noticed every time he goes to school, it's like it never fails. He's gonna catch a cold, he's gonna catch something always. And ever since he's been home, it's like we don't deal with none of that. And my sister-in-law, Janelle, she works in the medical field. And then my brother's an essential worker. And then, my husband, he's retired. So, we have all these children. And it's just like we've just been around each other. And even before COVID, we always make sure that if we sneeze, we do it properly. We always were cognizant of the things we were doing, and we still carried that when we were in public. But it just seems like all the people that were like, I call them nasty. because I'm like the common thing is you cough, cover your mouth. You sneeze, cover it. Tissue, wash hands, sanitize. It's like these are the things you should have been doing before COVID. Like,
Absolutely.
why is it that COVID is here? Gosh, let me wash my hands. Hand sanitize. And it's like you should have been doing this way before COVID. You're dirty. That's how I see it. Now we would always tell our son, now we don't want them. We say it, grummy kids. We don't want them grummy kids touching all over you, and because kids like to do this, touch the face, touch your face. Don't touch my face. Don't do that. And it was like that before COVID. So now when I see them wearing the mask, it's like, yeah, y'all still grummy because some of you all not trying to wear the mask, but it's like you see less people and less children getting sick because now they're mindful of who they're touching or mindful of not touching their face or doing those things. So it to me is just mind-boggling to see that something like this could make somebody more aware of something that they should have already been aware of. Cleanliness.
Right.
Like that is just the normal thing to be clean. Be cognizant of what you're doing and who you're talking to. Like if I'm talking to somebody, I'm not gonna be all up in their face and just be like, hey, and coughing in the face and talking like that. I'm not gonna do that. But now you have the ignorant people that do that now because they're just like, I can do it. But you meet the right person on the right day, that's going to
But
change all the minds. But that's the thing. I just didn't get it. Why?
but get this. You was raised when you came outside. Go in that bathroom, wash your hands before dinner. Go wash your hands.
Smell like
I
outside.
can say that. She know I'm telling the truth. Get in there and wash your hands. In our culture, the people
You smell like
around
outside.
you did not wash your hands.
Mm-mm.
In our culture, if you came outside from the first thing they would say, go inside, wash your hands. In my profession, my clients has to be staying a certain feet away from me before COVID. Why? Because I deal with behaviors, and in
But
case somebody have a behavior, I have to be at least 6 feet away before they want to swing. But so we've been practicing this stuff in our culture for some time. And now, like Dr. Tess says, it's this big thing that's blown up. Everybody has to do it. Da, 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 da. But if this is something that's been a part of your life all of your life, it's not anything new. Katrina knows. If you go outside, you come in, you wash your hands. Before dinner, you wash your hands.
Oh
All
yeah.
of these things we had in our home. And so the understanding that people, the children, I see children walking around. I call them little germ banks. Children are little germ banks. Let me tell you. Wait a minute. Children are germ banks. I think they
That
carry
part.
every germ in the world and never get sick. And I wonder why is that? Why they could carry it, and then those of us who are grown and older, we get sick from the least little thing.
Oh gosh.
What did Dr. Tess got?
Oh, she just turned her camera off.
Oh, okay.
God, I didn't. Looks like it came off 1 second. Let me just try to
But
figure
that
out
was
what's
the
going
question
on
I had.
here.
Why is it that little kids can carry all these little germs, and the moment an adult of a certain age be in their present, they go home and get sick?
See, that's why I stay away from grummy kids.
Can
See,
can you
I experienced that. No, I experienced that working.
It's your immune system.
can
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. Can you guys still hear me?
We can
Yes,
still hear you.
Yeah,
yeah,
If
we
you
Yeah.
click
can.
yeah. There's a
the stop
paper that
now.
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to put this camera back on, but there's actually a paper in regards to kids going back to school. And
uh-huh.
actually, there's a decreased probability of the kids getting sick um, in school. Now you got to take into consideration the teacher possibly being a carrier, but
Oh,
but with regards to well, I could just keep talking. With
yeah.
regards to kids, you're 100% right. They have awesome herd immunity. Just think about it. They just went through all of their series of vaccinations. They just got this robust immune system off of you, mom, you healthy people, and you guys are feeding them properly. They're vitamin C, come in, drink your orange juice, blah, blah, blah. They're warriors. Almost nothing will kill a child, not unless it's some kind of a congenital illness. So
Mhm.
they're less likely to suffer from some of the consequences of COVID than we are as adults, because, as stated, our immune system has been fighting. Your immune system is fighting so many battles throughout
Mhm.
the day that you just are not even aware of, to make sure that you're still healthy the next day. And
Right.
as we get older, plus we have stress, high cortisol, increased inflammatory rate because of food. Then you got COVID comes along and it kills us. And then if you look at like the underserved community, my cousin, she didn't go in to see the doctor because she had no one to keep the kids, right?
Right.
Or those people who have no transportation to get to a facility. So that's why us as minorities, or a lot of us are homeless. So that's why a lot, or substance abuse. If you give a person who has substance addiction an option to get a Percocet or a Xanax or methamphetamine, or go get tested for COVID, which one do you think they're going to choose? So I think that the way that this whole thing is going to pan out, they could call it this, they could call it that, they could call it whatever they want, but it's all socioeconomics. The rich will survive or be okay, and the not so well off will succumb to it. And that's why some have even called this a act of population control. Now, the one thing that I want to mention, I
Mhm.
hope that no one in this webinar is like waiting for us to go back to quote unquote normal, because you
Mm.
must understand COVID is here to stay. It's
Yes.
like smallpox is here to stay, measles is here to stay. And if you think about it, can we catch it again? I asked that I
Yeah.
asked that question in the form of a question. How many times can you catch a common cold?
Right.
How many times have you caught
Mhm.
influenza?
Right.
And the molecular structure of those are coronavirus. So
Right.
why do we have to keep getting a flu shot? So you could catch it. It's going to constantly mutate. It's going to constantly be here. So that's why we have these arguments. We want peace and kumbaya and feng shui, and we want everything to go back to normal. But I
Mhm.
more so um, promote learning how to live with COVID, just like we learned how to live with flu, and just how we learned how to live with a common cold, going back to the way that you ladies are raising your children, maintaining your home, just be clean. And that's it. Now, this vaccine, I know we're not talking about this, but I'm actually going to do a YouTube video on this. I've gotten a lot of people who were requesting to get a waiver from the vaccine. And I think I actually have it right here. There's a vaccine injury court that has billions of dollars available. So when they say that these vaccination companies don't have to assume liability, they can't, because you never know how something may mutate. But based on that, for every dollar, it's like or every $100, there's a certain amount of money off of every single drug that is sold, every pill, every item that goes into this trust. And it's a scale on this site, and it shows. I'm not on camera, so I can turn around and grab it. I actually have it. Let's see. And basically, like, let's say that you suffer from one of the symptoms that's on there, you simply go to this court of appeal. I think I already had it out because I was going to do a video on it. You simply go to this court of appeal. They already have lawyers there that are already paid for. You're going to hire a lawyer. And here it's called vaccine. Okay, so I got to try to get my camera together so I can show you guys. So it's a vaccine injury table,
Okay.
and basically it's the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. They have a program for it, and it's like if a child gets vaccinated, like DTaP or had this vaccine or whatever, and if they have any kind of brachial pain in their arm or anaphylaxis within a certain number of hours or even in less than 28 days, they contact this board and they get millions of dollars. Bam, non-disputed. And they have even opened it up to the flu shot. Now the problem with that is that it mainly addresses children, but the jury is should it now cover adults? And what I'm waiting to see is will they include COVID? But and that was why I was kind of like delaying with the video as it stands. This COVID wasn't out in 1917. I mean, yeah, 2017. So I don't know. With regards to getting the vaccine, uh, it's an RNA virus, and getting the vaccine is the same as getting the vaccine for the flu shot. you
Right.
know and it's but like I said, we're just so like, oh my god, this that, and I just really think that is secondary to lack of people taking the time to educate the community and backing it with evidence-based medicine. I mean, showing document, not just sitting up here talking and take my word for it, but referring them to the page on the CDC website or the publication from JAMA or whatever is confirming what you're trying to relate, because we're all very intelligent. If you show
Right.
me something and if I'm able to read it, I'm like, okay, I'll accept it because I was able to read it. But never should we just take anyone's word for it, especially the media, because they are lying to us. I've set up, I've listened, I was like, this has got to be crazy. Like the president, when he was positive for COVID, based on the guidelines, he only needed to be quarantined for 10 days. But they were going with that, 14 days, da 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 da. And the vice president, Pence, should have been immediately put on 14 days quarantine. They were doing their own thing in the White House. They were like, CD, what? We don't, we just,
We
we,
don't care about CDC.
they followed no, and then every single news story. That's why I did that quick video, Rhonda, when I first saw him diagnosed. I
Uh-huh.
threw it up real quick, like 2:45 in the morning, and
Right.
I had the CDC information right behind me, and then I was sitting up listening to the stories as they played out. I was like, this is incredible. And do you know that that was good for me, because as I am growing as a personality, honestly, that was when I first realized how much they lie in the media. I never knew that before. Because I've never like really researched something and then listened to how it was being portrayed. I mean, I knew they lied but now what I want everyone to understand is everyone is doing everything to get the most views or the most clicks or
Right.
the most, or everyone wants their story to go viral. And in order to have a situation to go viral, unfortunately, I think that the truth could go viral. I think, but I think that non-truths have more virility. They go further, and a lot of stuff that we're hearing with regards to COVID. If you think about it, all they talk about is a death rate, death rate, death rate, death rate,
Right.
death rate.
Yes.
But they and I'm saying this. I understand what the president is trying to say when he says that the influenza is deadlier, because statistically,
Yes.
more people have died secondary to the flu than COVID. And then he also said something, but with the Ben, he so hated anything he says, like, he's a liar. When he also said that they blame everything on COVID, I know a patient who died of cancer. They called it COVID. And I do think that the hospitals get a higher reimbursement. I know the clinics do, because when I was working at CSB, you could have high blood pressure, it was COVID. I know the clinics get reimbursed up the woozy for COVID because of the fund. There's a
Right.
certain budget that's now available that pays more. So if you code for a hypertension follow up, maybe $56 or whatever. But if you code for a COVID visit, maybe $256. So unfortunately, one of the most the seven evil sins. Mr. Jones? Seems like you're pretty versed in the Bible there. The what? Sex, money, greed, whatever. Those one of those seven evil sins is the driving force that's really amplifying the energy behind COVID. The poor
Uh-huh.
little virus is like, look, I'm just a virus. I just showed up because you guys created me with this ozone. Why is everyone so mad at me? Right? Because guess what? Right after COVID, his buddy's coming. This is going to be a continuum
Yes.
because of the ozone and because
Yes.
of the pollutants and the 5G and the this and the that. So instead of looking forward to that utopian day that we triumph, adjust. Adjust your
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
eat healthy, exercise, pray, just exercise every kind of discipline as far as cleanliness. And I have even went as far as to say, and I know I'm probably going to get a bunch of boulders thrown at me, but I'm not on the camera, so you guys can't throw anything at me. Have a COVID party because we have to almost get the antibody
Mm-hmm.
in order to feel comfortable. And you may get body aches, you may get fever, you may feel like you had, oh, but I'm not saying, I'm not promoting COVID, but
Right.
I'm saying that eventually there's a good possibility that we all will get the infection some sort of a way. And we may get a mild, like, even though I don't care what my test said, I feel like I had it. Yeah, I had body aches. Like I would wake up to go back to sleep. I was so tired. I felt like I had a cold. I felt congested. I just had a like loss of appetite and all that, whatever. And then it lasted about 7 days, and I went back to work. Well, they made me stay in a room for 14 days. So I'll take back the extra 7 days. I think I got caught up on my TikToks or something like that. I don't know, but it's I just really think that we have to understand
Okay.
that it's here to stay, and that's pretty much my take on it. So let me try to fix this camera.
Yeah, we're having a lot of technical difficulties, but that's okay. We're gonna continue on with our technical difficulties. Remember, we're a new show and we are
We
learning,
are.
we're growing. So we got cameras going on and we got phone stuff going on. I even see my sis in the back of her husband. Stay off camera, Matri, yes.
She look good. Hey, Auntie Mitri.
But we don't want to get off topic either. Dr. Chess is so versed. That was so much information, good information about
It
COVID.
was.
And we want to go back to breast cancer. Women, get your mammograms. If you feel it,
Yes.
go and get your mammograms. It's no longer that you have to be 50 or 60 to get a mammogram now. We're finding that there are younger women in their 20s and 30s that are
Mhm.
needing to get mammograms just because of their history. So don't overlook because you think you're young and you're invincible that you can't uh, get cancer. We pray and
Yeah.
we think, hey, it don't happen, but do the precautionary measures. Precautionary measures saves lives.
It does.
Mhm.
Early detection saves lives. So we want to be early in our detect. Sometimes we get busy as women. We get busy and we're running around and we're doing this and that. We're taking care of husbands and children and family members. And sometimes we do forget that we are important. We are important to ourselves. So make sure we do our physicals and make sure we do our mammograms, whatever it takes to stay healthy and to stay, here and beautiful. One thing I know about Dr. Tess, she's always working out. She's always working out and she's always encouraging others to work out and to get fit and to eat well. Also, we have my daughter Kiana on, which is a fitness trainer. Eat well and exercise. Ladies, these are so important. These things are so important to us. We have to take care of ourselves. We do have to be selfish. Some people say, oh, it's selfish. No, ladies, we have to be selfish sometimes because if we don't take care of us, who else is going to do it? when we land in the bed, there are still little ones or older ones saying, "Hey, I need this, I need that." So
Oh
you
gosh,
have to
yes.
use that big word in the dictionary. No,
No.
no. I know I
No.
can't do it right now. I need to take some time out for me. So, ladies, get your mammograms, whatever it takes to stay healthy and to stay looking good. Look at Dr. Tess. Dr. Tess look good.
Look, come on now with the
Look,
melanin goodness. Yes.
look, that caused a sip sip.
Sip and sip. Look. I love all the brown skin. I just yeah. Look, I'm just a sucker for the brown skin. Yeah, like the nice skin. Yeah.
And my daughter-in-law, look at her, look all glowy and all that stuff.
Let's go rock
Oh,
the
that's your daughter-in-law?
Nicaragua.
Beautiful.
So it's just important for us to be aware of cancer, not only in the month of October,
Right.
but ladies, this is an ever-changing life thing. So you want to have your checks often as you can. Do
Yes.
like I do. For me, my doctor gives me a reminder. Your mammogram is coming up because my calendar is so busy. My calendar is so
Mhm.
busy. So I get a reminder. It's time for your mammogram. It's time for your physical. It's time for your eyes. It's time for your teeth. These
Yes.
things are we want to do well. I know some friends my age don't have their teeth.
Mm.
Come on now. Take care of this body. A lot of things we didn't know when we were young. Now that we know, let's take care of our bodies, our teeth,
Yeah.
everything. Uh Trina J.
Like just to come off of what you just saying about the health and taking care of yourself, it can start with the smallest thing. Like for me, I love my coffee. Oh my gosh, I do. And then I love my creamer. But I was like, I have to minimize my sugar intake. So what did I do? Gosh, I got the no sugar creamer. Oh, my life. Let me tell you something. I didn't think my life was gonna be right. I did not because I mean I just like the how it tastes the sugar, it's addicting, So therefore it was just like I can't do this. But I had to tell myself if you want better, you have to do better. So I had to discipline myself and say, you know what? Okay, you have to do this because I bought my no sugar creamer and then I had the one with all the goodness in it. And then I had to sadly give that to my children. I was like, I don't want to, but I got to. Okay. So it was that letting go of that to say, you know what, I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it and I'm going to do better. And because I want it better for myself. And sometimes it can get very difficult and very hard because we're so used to doing the same old for so long. And when you go without something that you've been used to, you may feel like you're sick, or you may feel like you haven't ate enough. You may get all these different feelings, but
Withdrawals.
yeah,
Withdrawals.
withdrawals because your body is just so used
Right.
to all the toxic waste, all the sugar, all that stuff. Your body's just so used to it. So when you get it and you feel good, it's just like, oh, I'm feeling great, but your body's not actually doing great. So you always have to take the time to try to discipline yourself as much as you can. And you don't have to go off and just start real big. Start small. Accomplish something small. Start with a small goal. Be like, okay, this is the goal. I want to reach here. And if I do this for 3 days straight, then next time I want to try for longer. But just don't try to jump into it and just ixnay everything and say, I'm getting rid of all those things, because it's going to be worse, because you're going to start indulging in all the sweets and all the sodas, all this stuff, because you're not used to that. So slowly, gradually remove yourself from the things that you know you shouldn't have in your body, and put back in the things that you need, the good greens, the good vegetables, not the ones that don't do anything for you. It may taste good, it may not do nothing for your body. So you always got to also research it, ask your friends, those people that have been through the things, that have the knowledge. Utilize those people to help you get to where you need to be, because you may need that support. You may need that person there and say, hey, I have you, I got you, I can do this with you, whatever you need, I have you. So, just reach out to your friends, reach out to your families if you're looking for that help. And of course, reach out to M.S.D Coffee and Tea, because you got all you need. Got to put that plug in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
And with us being raised, when I was young, I didn't know how important running and jumping and walking was. We don't think about those things when we're young. But young people, young women, walk, exercise, take care of your skin, do whatever it takes. With me, I set a goal that I would lose a certain amount of weight every month. So far, I'm on my goal because I have another goal that I want to reach. So I set my goal like at 5 to 10 pounds because I knew this would be better for me. Because COVID, child, let me tell you,
Oh,
I need up the refrigerator. Let me tell you.
look now.
Woo! Whatever was in there, I was gonna eat. But then I noticed my body wasn't right. I didn't have anything else to do, working from home, and I was just eating. I'm a Lay's potato chip nut. Pray for me because me and a bag of Lay's could just go to Hawaii and back. But anyway, I had to cut back on my Lay's, like Trina G was saying. I couldn't just take it away. So I cut back. I cut back till I start buying the little bitty bags of Lay's. So we have to do little things. I couldn't jump into this weight loss thing and getting much healthier, because as I found menopause, and that's another topic for another day. But menopause, some
That it
weight
is.
comes from places I don't know where it came from. So I have to really monitor what I eat because I'm menopausal. And so we have to be careful. So ladies, when you're young, look at your mothers and see where they are in their health. And that's
Ooh.
going to tell you about how you might be if you're not taking care of
Hey,
yourself.
Ma.
Hey, daughter.
Looking at you.
I got moved.
You know, I love it when my children can look at me and say, "Mom, you look good."
You
I
doggone
feel,
right.
because being over 60 is a blessing.
What you say now?
Being over
Yes.
60 for me is truly a blessing. And to feel good because I'm doing some things, I'm not perfect, but I'm working, I'm steadily growing. And so this is what we want. We want you to grow. We want you to stay healthy. We want you to have information. Cancer seem like, I don't know the statistics on the number one killer, if not heart disease, um, high blood pressure in our community is killing people.
Diabetes.
The diabetes, this stuff is killing people. My husband died of an intracranial bleed, stress,
Hmm.
14 years ago. High blood pressure. This stuff will kill us. And we
Yep.
have to be more aware. And I'm so glad that Dr. Tess gave us so much information, not only about
Yes.
cancer, but health, how to, you will see her, and I'm going to let her give her information where you can follow her. Please follow her. She's going to get a TV show soon. I just want to be in the back. I just want to be in the background, Dr. Tess. I just want to be back in the background. But I'm going
Look,
to let
peeking
Dr.
around the corner like, hey.
Yeah, here I am. Yeah. I don't have to be like one of them Atlanta housewives. I just want to be in the back.
The friend that come on the show.
I'm the friend. But I'm gonna let Dr. Tess let you know where you can follow her and where you can contact her. She does everything to me in medicine. I never seen a woman that could talk about everything. But what the most joy I get is that she is a black woman.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks,
Woo!
guys. You
She,
know,
she is a black woman. I so appreciate that little girls can look at this and say, I could be that doctor. Go
and
ahead, Dr. Tess.
thank you so much, guys. Thank you for this opportunity to join you. All of you guys are so beautiful. These are your daughters?
That's my daughter-in-law, Janelle.
I'm the daughter.
Oh
That's
my
my daughter.
God. Very beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank
This is
you.
awesome. I just wanted to just like really, really definitely leave you guys with my information, but just comment on a couple of things. Trina, every single person, in my opinion, at least quarterly, if not annually, eh, should do a cleanse. And like I promote like standard process, and it's all natural. And it just you have to, I mean, if you think about it, and I get this analogy, let's say that you put on lipstick and you put on the same lipstick and you never take that old lipstick off. And you
Mm.
put it on for like 30 or 40 years. That's kind of like what we're doing if we don't cleanse. So we
Yeah.
have to. And the thing I like about the standard process cleanse is we always say colon cleanse. If you notice, I didn't say colon because it cleanses your liver, your spleen, your colon, and your kidneys. Those are all trash baskets. Your
Hmm.
spleen is a big lymph node. Your liver is your liver is detoxing everything.
Right.
So the water we drink is going your saliva when you swallow it. Everything is going through your liver. Why are we not just your car 3,000 miles every 3 months? You go in and do what? You service it.
Hmm.
You get the old oil out, you get new oil in, they take out all that transmission fluid because if they don't, what's going to happen? The car's going to break down.
Right.
So
Yes.
we have to look at the human body in the exact same way, except like Rhonda said, it's the only car. We
That's
can't go trade
Hmm.
this one in. When we like,
Yes.
you know what? They came out with a new model. Yeah, we get some enhancements. I could talk to you ladies about that.
oh,
We
I need
get
an Dr. Tess. I need an enhancement.
we can enhance the model we have, but we can't trade it in. Now, so I definitely think we should get a cleanse. With regards to
Yes.
moving, Rhonda, when you mentioned that, when I go visit the nursing home, we have the old people sitting in the bingo room. We had them sitting in their wheelchair, waving their arms. There is no age limit.
Right.
As long as you have extremities and you are breathing, move. If you're paralyzed with a trach, move your pinky toe. But it's just a fact of moving anything. I gave one of my followers a under the desk elliptical that
Oh.
she uses. You remember the one I had?
Mm-hmm.
I found it easier to like be on the treadmill and do work. Whereas that under the desk elliptical, I was actually focusing on the fact that I was moving my feet. But if you're just reading a book or something like that, but I'm usually on this computer intense. Like I need to understand this. So I that was a distractor for me. But there is no age limit as far as moving. And then
Right.
as far as teeth health, like you said, bad teeth, caries, dental caries can definitely lead to heart disease and all kinds of pathology. And the final thing, every single disease that we are, that you mentioned, the hypertension, the high cholesterol, and the diabetes, all lifestyle, every last one of them. And that's the main reason why. And we think that the older we get, we're supposed to be on medication. Like medication is a badge for a birthday. No,
Hmm.
this lady upstairs is 86 years old. She's not on one medication. And she take
Wow.
all her dog walker because she walks all the dogs in the neighborhood. She does all the gardening.
My
She doesn't have a
grandmother.
garden, but she just goes in everyone's yard and starts picking their weeds. Like, okay, don't say it. I'm not gonna say it. Don't say anything to her. Just let her do it. And that's her passion. That's her serenity. You had mentioned one other thing. Just we're responsible for our own positive outcome. And if
Right.
we look at any kind of negative health result, it doesn't have to be hereditary. My mother has diabetes. My dad has diabetes. I don't. My mother has thyroid disease. I don't. Because one of the things I tell my patients, live your life like you have the disease that you don't want to get. So
Oh,
that's what we do. We live our lives like we have COVID because we prevent it. We wash your hands, right?
Hmm.
I live my life like I have diabetes because I don't want diabetes. I live my life like I have high blood pressure because I don't want high blood pressure. And Rhonda, you eat your bag of chips. You eat your bag of chips because it's called lifestyle modification.
right.
Hmm.
We can't go through life like, oh my God, I can't
Right.
eat that. Where's our pleasure? Where's our joy?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Right? So it's like one wrong for three goods. If you're going to eat that bag of chips, just make sure you add 30 extra minutes onto your walk, or you do
Right.
this, you do that, and you make deals with yourself. But
Right.
Right.
not do, you have to do.
Right.
Hmm.
So you guys can find me. I think my at my girl last night at the dinner, she said, "What's your call handle?" So I didn't know we were truckers.
Right.
But that's pretty consistent. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest. I think I'm pretty consistent as far as Dr. Test 90210. And we had the Dr. Test 90210 show on YouTube, which I have been a little bit lacking just because of my mom.
Right.
But I finally got StreamYard, still trying to figure out how to use it. But I'm pretty excited. I love this software. And that's about it. I give you guys my number. It's not a big deal. Everyone knows my number. I want everyone to know my number is 1310 Ask Tess. ASKTESS. That's 2758377. And when people call, we normally give a text message response within 24 hours. And even if I miss you on Facebook, I'll get back to you and it will usually be a video reply like I do with Ron because I'm always moving around. I just feel like it's more personable and then I don't have to stop and try to type out what I'm trying to say. I can just hit the button and just do a video and just say what I got to say and then I'm done. So
Right.
that's about it.
Okay. And Janelle, my favorite and one and only daughter-in-law. Some last tips or any words about, especially about my grandchildren, but any word, any word leave us with.
Um, it's more so about breast cancer and staying very aware. It's really important, and again, you guys were saying that it starts very early, and it really does. My grandmother had breast cancer, and hers started back in 1972, where they caught it, and back then, medicine wasn't as what it is in advance as what it is now, and she basically told them cut it off. So she had one breast cut off in 1979, and back again, second breast cut off. Now she's a survivor since then. Um, and so every year, my aunts, my mom, they all had to get tested. I had to start mine in 30. So it's really important to to check yourself, know what you're feeling, know that it's constant feeling. I want to say in 2015, I had a scare where my doctor thought I had breast cancer, and I had to go through series and series of tests for 6 months before I could find out and know that it wasn't breast cancer. So I get checked on a daily, not a daily, but annually. Well, I want to say 6 months because they will check me every 6 months, just to make sure that whatever they saw has not grown. It's still sitting there, still small. It's not going anywhere. It's just keeping aware, and again, knowing your body, knowing what you're feeling every time, and always keep that in the back of the head when you check something else and you see that there's another bump or lump or something like that. I mean, it could be nothing and it could be something. Just always know and stay aware.
One thing to piggyback on what Janelle said, I have what they call lumpy breasts. And I had that scare. I think I was 34 and having my last child. And it really scared me, but I didn't know I had lumpy breasts. I just felt this lump. And it took me 2 weeks though to go to the doctor because I was so fearful. And so when I went, they did this test and found out that I have lumpy breasts. So there are many women out there that may have lumpy breasts and feel the lumps. Check it out
Mhm.
because you never know. You never know what it
Yep.
is. Many women, like myself, have lumpy breasts. My doctor said my mom probably had it or something like that, but they were just lumpy for whatever reason. But I still go and get checked. So those of you that may have lumpy breasts, make sure you get it checked.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you get checked. And Robert, what you want to leave us with? Robert Jones.
Yes, my suggestion for the brothers out there: be advised, be wise, get early breast detection because yes, men can get breast cancer. So the same thing applies for men as they tell women. You can examine yourself, check your right side, check your left side. You notice any informalities, any lumps that does not supposed to be there, any insignificant pain. Go directly to your doctor, get it checked out because cancer is not a death sentence if you have early uh, early diagnosis and get it checked in time. You too can also survive.
Wonderful, wonderful. I thank you all for joining mothers, sisters, and daughters, coffee and tea. I thank you. I'm gonna let Trina D.
Yeah. Now, did anybody else, Uncle Robert, Janelle, did you guys have any information where you wanted people to reach out to you guys?
Well, I can be reached by way of my cell if I need to come and speak as an advocate to spread the word further along. I can be reached at 323-481-0399. Any night or day, let me know. And if I can be of assistance or to help to you or in your area, call me and I'll be more than happy to come and speak and share my experience with you and get the word out to the brothers that they need to get it checked out.
What is your email?
Email is BobbyJ5461 at gmail.com. One more time, BobbyJ5461 at gmail.com.
Thank you, Janelle. Your information.
Um, you can find me on Facebook as Janelle Scott. Same thing as TikTok. I'm on Instagram as Lady December. And my email address is janelle.scott@gmail.com. Let me spell that because my name is spelled differently. It's actually JILLNELL.SCOTT@gmail.com.
Thank you.
You said Lady December.
Lady December is Instagram.
How do you spell that so everybody will know?
That is LADIDECEMBER.
Spell it one more time for the good people.
So it's Lady LADIDECEMBER. Lady with an I in December for the
Look at you,
month,
had to go be different.
the great month. For the great month of December. You know, my birthday's coming up soon. I'll be turning 40.
I just want
And
to
mine
show you.
too.
Yes,
I just
Dr.
want to
Jeff.
show
Mine
you
too in
guys.
about a month. I'll be
This is the
66.
let me see. We can't. Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, there it is. This is those guidelines I was telling you guys about. So you see how
Okay.
like Janelle, she's over there, MA. So you see some of those vaccinations. Those that's a series of vaccinations that we give all
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
right? And then it says what, like if they have anaphylaxis or brachial neuritis, then it says how long. So it's very important, like when they get the vaccine, that's the reason why we keep them at the clinic for a certain period of time. Janelle knows all of this. And then when the mom gets home, they monitor it. And actually, I think that like every clinic should have this information because I know that we make the parents sign off on those forms, but we're not giving them any reassurance. Well, hey, let's say something goes wrong. You have access to the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. And then the parents would be like, oh,
BIS.
okay, yeah. But instead of
Yeah,
just constantly coming
it's
in wanting a
BIS.
waiver, okay, because the thing is, you get a waiver, you're being selfish because you're possibly putting the other kids in that classroom at risk by you just like not being aware that get the shot and get
Right.
paid if something
Yeah,
goes wrong. Not if it's death, you don't want that. So we don't want to sound um, like we don't have empathy. But
Right.
that was I was a blank screen, so I just wanted to show you guys. But you're on it, Janelle. You're on it. You got the information. So
yeah. Our providers at our clinic, they have the option to say no to those patients to not treat them. I know personally we have a few of our patients that their children don't get vaccine. They have to sign a documentation. But our providers, they have the right to say no, I will not treat them because they don't want to be liable for anything that happens when they go to school.
if the provider says no, who tells that family? Does the provider have to say no, or does the MA go in and say you're a provider? Because we get evaluations. I've had people that wrote bad evaluations on Yelp because of something that happened at a clinic that I did on
Yeah.
locums because I
Uh-huh.
was put in the line of fire like that, right? So
Yeah.
they think we're
Our
just being
providers
meanie
do.
weenies, huh?
Exactly.
Right.
We basically tell them, our providers go in there and they explain to them, look, these are what your children are supposed to have at time, and he will show them the documentation. And if they choose not to, and if that provider continues to treat them, they will sign a document that says, that we're kind of relinquished from anything that happens with that child or anybody else that comes in contact with that child. But if the provider says, no, I'm not going to treat them because I'm not going to hold liable, they will go in the room and tell that patient, that parent, or guardian, to let them know, we're not going to treat you. We can't treat you because we don't want to be liable, um, for your child not being vaccinated, and you go to school or go somewhere else and get someone else sick, and then we're liable because we didn't vaccinate you.
And then that parent goes to one of those anti-vaccine organizations and talks about this mean, horrible doctor who didn't care
Mm-hmm.
about their child and wanted their child to
Mm-hmm.
have autism. That horrible, horrible, never go to that doctor. The doctor doesn't care about you. The next thing you know, the doctor doesn't pay taxes, the doctor wears bad hair and everything else because of that one scenario. So it's a very, and that's the reason why I have this, because I noticed that it's easier to communicate with people when you show them a piece of paper. So I can't tell you what to do with your
Oh yes.
clinic, but give those doctors a shield. Ma'am, you can't get
Right.
me.
Yes. They have
Just give them,
documentation in
right,
hand.
right, exactly. Because if we don't, the patients, they all think that they think doctors are rich. They think that we're in it for the money. They think that we're
Yeah.
promoting pain
That
meds.
is
They think,
so true.
like, oh
That
my God.
that
Mm-hmm.
oh that is so true. And
Yeah.
I always say also
Mm-hmm.
ask questions of your doctors.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ask
exactly.
questions. Don't be afraid to ask your physician
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Ask questions.
Definitely.
So
Okay,
I didn't want to butt
Yes.
in. I just wanted to show you guys that form, but it sounds like Janelle is all on top of it. So that's all that matters. As long as the knowledge is out there, that's all I care about.
knowledge is power.
It's
Yes,
power.
indeed it is.
All right,
That
let
is
me
Yes,
get
so.
back to
it
my
is.
workout.
Power.
But
Yes.
I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us on Mothers, Sisters, and Daughters Coffee and Tea. And thank you to our guests, Janelle, Robert, Dr. Tess. We
Thank you, Lord.
appreciate you guys for coming on here and just sharing your knowledge, sharing your stories, and sharing your medical advice with us. We hope you all gained a lot from this. And we want you to meet us back here next Saturday
Absolutely.
for some goodness because we're going to talk about being raised as a PK. And if you don't know what that is, that's talking about being raised as a
Preacher's
kid.
kid.
So
Aha.
don't miss
Come on
out
now.
because you know we have a lot to say about
Mm.
that. We thank you guys. We love you guys.
Lord.
And we will see you guys next Saturday.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.